Nasa loob kami ng Museo Iloilo. Ayan. Ano yan? Ay. Ano? Ay. Try to look inside of this. Someone will come out. Anak ni Janice. So be careful. Show them. Ano? We'll upload this. Ano yung mga jars na yan? Na ano siya? Parang nakuha sa ilalim ng dagat. Ah, uton diggings. San Antonio, Oton, Iloilo. Diggings na hukay nila. Ay. Ayun tanong ko mamaya sa teacher day niya na nahukay lang, di ba? Nung bata sabi niya. That's your grandpa. Oo nga, no? Masaan na si Sab? Sab? Oh! Yeah, that's the image of Gigantes Pottery naman daw ito. General Perfecto Poblador Sword daw. Captain in the Infantry, Concepcion. Oh, Revolution of Panay. What? Why? Come on. How about this one? Sand. Oh, may pera. $0.50. Ayan o. These are Japanese Philippine currency. Japanese katana. And free panay calling. What? Again? What is?
Four part.
Four?
Four part.
What's four part?
F-O-R-E-P-A-R-T.
Where will you see that?
That thing holding the nothing.
Let's see. Oh, these are these are bala. These are like gonna explode.
What if they explode here?
No, they're not. The how do you call it? The thing that makes it explode are no longer there. It's removed already. The pulbura in Tagalog.
Gunpowder?
Huh?
Gunpowder?
Yep. Footprints of the conqueror. Wait. Oh. What about it? Negritos.
When the Spaniards came, Panay was
People
fighting different ethnic groups. The Negritos who lived in the mountains and the Visayan who lived along coast and rivers. That were that thing believed to be the first settlers in the islands are small in stature and more of a coffee color than the Guineans, but with their soft hair, beard, and flat noses, they closely resemble the Guineans. Don't read that again. They did not have houses or fixed settlements, nor did they have clan or league. With their wives and children, they wandered half naked, except for a piece of the bark of a tree to cover the forepart of their bodies.
Yeah.
Their only property was the bow and arrow, which they were dead stones.
And so, if you're going to look at the statue, what do you mean by forepart?
I don't know.
What is it covering? Look at the bark of the. It's like
The private parts.
in the private parts. Yeah, that's correct. So these are the negritos. The
Where's his
folklore.
bow?
Huh?
Where's his bow?
It's missing. Maybe he released it already, so it's somewhere there. Oh, there. the folklore that was Maragtas. Oh, I think that's part of your lesson in Hikasi. The oh no.
Prehistory was once based primarily on the Maragtas, which some scholars consider as folk history because through the years it has evolved into about 6 versions and is interlaced with events and stories quite fantastic to be true. With that, it tells of the arrival in Tanay of Malay traders and their families from Borneo in 1250. As the narrative goes, the Bornean Malays came into contact with the Atis or Negritos, who inhabited some parts of the shoreline of the island at that time. They then negotiated with the latter for the barter or purchase of the coastal areas where they intended to settle down. After the agreement, the newcomers established settlements along riverbanks and seacoasts while the Atis moved immediately into the island's interior. Although previously accepted by some historians, including the present author, it has become obvious that the Maragtas is only the imaginary creation of Patrick Monteglaro, a Visayan public official and poet in Filipino in 1907. He based it on folk customs and legend, largely transmitted by oral tradition. With that, Maragtas is firmly placed in its proper perspective as a book of legend, rather than historical fact in 1968 by William Henry Scott.
Okay.
The first queen city of the South. Prior to the opening of the port of Iloilo to the world market, it has been steadily conducting inter-island trade. At times, the Visayan depot for goods at the
It's
Gulf.
Depot.
It's your turn to read, please.
Where's the part na Bisayan? Bisayan Depot. That's really. A while ago you said, yeah, to offset the continuous slave raiding of Iranon pirates in the coastal communities of the trading routes, fast-moving Coast Guard craft rather than conventional naval vessel were mobilized. Governor Vasco Vargas in 1778 organized the Light Navy to police the 300,000 square miles of seas and its archipelago. A small fleet of Vintas armed outrigger craft was constructed to patrol the waters from Manila to Panay, according to Warren.
Iloilo began its period of real prosperity in
1885.
1855 to 60 when the Spanish colonizers allowed foreign ships to call at ports other than Manila. Foreign ships were limited to only in
Manila, yeah.
Then it as a part of call for international trade. It became a boom time in no time. It became a convenient yet gateway of goods coming from Mindanao as well. Industries such as tobacco, trading, and its business in Panay and more.
Okay, can see now.
Ano ba
So is Chinese businessman to come, more Chinese businessmen to come to settle and actively engage in the buy and sell market. The Port of Iloilo gave Negros and Panay local industry and agriculture, especially sugar, a gateway to foreign markets, and made Iloilo the biggest center of commerce and trade in the Visayas and Mindanao, second to Manila. Oh.
Robert McGinn, an English merchant, observed that Manila-based birds and tuners often visited the provinces of Antique and Iloilo on their way to Sulu. The island of Panay, situated on the main road for ships bound to Jolo and the Moluccas, was where the Manila traders ordinarily completed their Sulu cargoes. Sugar, rice, tobacco, coconut oil, locally woven fabrics, and other handicraft items were purchased there at the same. Iloilo, in a record of raiding in 1836, posted that the brig Leonidas, destined for Sulu, completed the cargo with sugar and rice, it being cheaper than at Manila.
Okay. Kala ko joke lang. From Irong-Irong daw pala to Iloilo. Ang anong pangalan? Arevalo.
Wow! Wow naman!